Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is if you have your natal Jupiter in the 11th house. This is the house of the humanitarian, the house of friendships, group associations, your hopes and wishes. And Jupiter is this planet that is considered, it's like Santa Claus or something. It gives you a lot of opportunities, so that creates expansion in your life. It can be lucky, so you're at the right place at the right time, you're aligned, and just like a positive influence. And it's also the planet that is associated with ethics and that sort of thing. So when somebody has Jupiter in the 11th house, your dreams are expanded. I would say you are a big dreamer. You dream big. By the way, I'm getting my information from advancedastrology.com. I'm adding some of my own things, but I just compiled the list from that. And the 11th house is the house of long range goals. So oftentimes you will hear it described as hopes and wishes. Recently, I heard an astrologer say long range goals, and I was a little bit confused because I was thinking about the 10th house. That's the house of career. Whenever I think of goals, I think of career, which is not necessarily accurate because we may have career goals, professional goals, if you will, but we also have goals in our private life. Some people want to find the right person. Maybe some people want to have a family. Some people want to live in a specific location. There's so many different things that we have as goals that have nothing to do with career per se. So Jupiter in general can not only give you that breadth of vision, which allows you to kind of like see beyond where you're at right now, but envision that there's a possibility for something else. I guess it's like a pen and ink drawing that's like a piece of artwork, and it says something to the effect of, don't ever think that where you are right now is the only reality. And it shows a bird, in a couple of birds in a cage and one that's flown into the sky because that bird believed that there was more to life than that cage. So the limitations that the world puts on us sometimes keep people playing small. Jupiter in the 11th can make you very, the word that came into my mind was ambitious, but it's more of a visionary. Jupiter can be a visionary. And, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Sag is a sage. So there you go. So anyway, so I would say that this makes you very hopeful. You can find, you can be very resourceful about making these dreams come true. Other people can help you achieve these dreams because you're coming into contact with all these different people. Remember that Jupiter expands the area that it is inhabiting, and in the 11th house, it means that you're making these connections with others. Now, one of the things I saw them mention is that if Jupiter is afflicted, it can mean that the person uses people. Now I understand what they mean is that, you know how when people use others, they're trying to get ahead and they are, cultivating relationships with ulterior motives. So I can kind of see what they meant. I wasn't going to include that. So I would say that if somebody's sun is in Capricorn and they have Jupiter in the 11th house, that could be why they socialize, is that they have that ulterior motive that they want to make these connections. You hear about people saying, "Oh, I'm networking, and really what they're doing, they're schmoozing people so that they can get connections. I'm thinking about somebody that my partner knows it very well. I guess you'd call him a friend. Somebody he's known for years, and he was handing out his professional information after church was over. That just popped in my head. And I'm not saying that he doesn't believe in God or he's just going there for that purpose, but I just thought that was funny because my partner was saying, "I think I'm going to do that." I said, "Don't you dare. Don't you dare." But that's just taking advantage of every group situation that you find yourself in and promoting yourself. So working with others is a way that you succeed. And part of this can be that other people want to help you, that they are instrumental in getting you, in opening doors for you. But if you're working as a team, for instance, these people can be very good for you and can help you achieve your dreams, your goals. And you just attract these people into your life. You may be a very generous individual. Jupiter is a planet associated with abundance and expansion, and that means if you're expansive about abundance, you see it. You see there not being a limit to resources, and so you can feel comfortable sharing. And the other thing about this that is very important is that the 11th house is the house of the humanitarian, because this is the house of the collective. And for instance, this is Aquarius's house, and Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. It's all about the group rather than the individual. And so sociology may be of great interest to you. That's the study of groups. And because of this, you may be drawn to humanitarian work. I actually saw some resource, not necessarily this site, that said that the 11th house was the house of volunteer work. And, as is typical for any kind of body of work, and this is any kind of studying that you do, you will notice that different authorities have different views and sometimes they contradict each other. So some people, I've heard that the 6th house is the house of volunteer work, or the 12th house. So I would include the 11th house because it is involving groups, and it's involving this idea of broad-mindedness. That brings me to this thing that advanced astrology mentioned, which was that somebody with this placement may be progressive. And it's important in this day and age when there is so much charged emotion as it relates to terminology, that people have a knee-jerk response and they think everything is political. That progressive has nothing to do with a political party, although, we could debate that. It has to do with a mindset. And I prefer the term progressive to liberal because I feel that it is very much aligned with the 11th house, with the idea of how people expand, how they make progress. And that's how I see it. And it's when you make progress, you open your mind more to more possibilities. But there's an ethical framework of this position because Jupiter rules the ninth house, that is the God house and the house of organized religion and philosophy. So, because those systems have their own ethical frameworks, this you're carrying that to this area of life, which is connected to maybe your long range goals. So everything that you are working towards, you're doing so with that ethical framework. And that is great because it's really like you're not just working for yourself. In a lot of ways, you could say that with the 10th house, the goals that you're accomplishing are for your own glory, for your own level of success. Whereas for the 11th house, it's all about, I mean, when you're talking about some of these goals, they can be for society as a whole. And you may have hold of a great vision for society. So anyway, that's what I have for you. One last thing. I didn't see this. I think this is a no-brainer. Since this is the house of friendships, I would say, and groups, I would say somebody with Jupiter in the 11th house may be quite social. They did mention something about, they said something. I wanted to see exactly what they said. I can't find it off the bat, but I would say that this is a very popular person, or at least that you have made a lot of contacts yourself. So whether you are personally likable, I still think that you would be because Jupiter's a benefic planet, but in any case, you're doing your best to make these social connections. And even if you're an introverted sign, even if you're a sign that isn't necessarily that gung-ho about socializing that much, you may still find yourself drawn to groups, maybe even from a serious mind. If you're like a Capricorn, I mentioned Capricorn maybe in a little bit of a negative light, but maybe in the more positive, higher-minded Capricorns can have a very serious attitude, and even Aquarians, about this issue of making the world a better place. And so the socializing that they do, the groups that they belong to, may have some kind of goal of trying to solve some kind of societal problem. So that might be what's going on as well. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.